Right now, as you watch this, millions of Americans are staring at a green check mark on their computer screen. It says, "Your device is protected." And they believe it. They shouldn't. Because that green check mark, the one Microsoft put there, the one Microsoft told you to trust, is sitting on top of one of the biggest security failures in the history of personal computing. And the worst part? Microsoft knew the very tool they forced onto your computer, the one they called Your Shield, has a crack in it. And in June of 2026, that crack became a door. And through that door walked some of the most dangerous digital threats ever recorded on American soil. By the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly what happened, why it was allowed to happen, and how you can walk away from Microsoft's broken promise permanently without spending a single dollar. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you isn't a tech problem, it's a betrayal. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you hire a home security company. They show up, they install their system, and they tell you, you don't need anything else. Don't call anyone else. Don't install anything else. We've got you covered. You trust them. Why wouldn't you? They're the professionals. But what you don't know, what they never told you, is that the alarm company kept a master key to your front door. Not for bad reasons, they said. Just for maintenance. Just in case they need to get in. Now, imagine that key gets stolen. And the burglars don't break down your door. They walk right in. With the key the alarm company made. That is not a metaphor I invented. That is exactly what happened in June 2026 when cybersecurity researchers around the world began sounding the alarm about a new category of threat, what experts are calling zero-day vulnerabilities targeting Windows machines running Microsoft Defender. Now, what is a zero-day vulnerability? Simple. It means the attack arrives before anyone has a chance to fix it. Day zero, no warning, no patch, no protection. One of the most alarming of these threats has been identified under the name Red Sun. And it doesn't knock on your door. It doesn't send you a suspicious email with bad spelling. It exploits something already living inside your machine. Something Microsoft put there. Think about that. The very software Microsoft forced onto your computer that you never asked for, never chose, and cannot easily remove became the entry point. Not the solution, the problem. And while cybersecurity agencies in the United States, the United Kingdom, and Canada were quietly issuing emergency alerts to government agencies and corporations, you, sitting at home, were still looking at that green check mark, still being told, your device is protected. Now, here's what I want you to hold on to, because we're going to come back to this. Microsoft didn't just fail to stop these attacks. They built the conditions that made the attacks possible. How? That's what Act 2 is about, and it's uglier than you think. Let's talk about Microsoft's relationship with your computer, because it stopped being your computer a long time ago. Think back. When did Microsoft start forcing things on you without asking? Windows 10 updates that restarted your machine at 3 in the morning and scrambled your settings. Windows 11 requirements that made perfectly good computers suddenly obsolete, unless you bought new hardware. A browser called Edge that reinstalled itself after you deleted it. A chatbot called Copilot that appeared one morning on your taskbar and started reading your files. None of that, not one single item on that list, did you ask for. But here's the irony that should make your blood boil. Microsoft has the power to push anything onto your machine anytime they want, automatically, without your permission. They've proven that repeatedly, but when it came to fixing the very vulnerabilities that left your machine open to the Red Sun threats in June 2026, silence, delays, incomplete patches. They can install a chatbot on your computer overnight, but they couldn't close the door that criminals were walking through. Now you might ask, why? Why would a company worth $3 trillion leave its customers exposed like this? And the answer to that question is something that a lot of people in Silicon Valley would rather you never figure out. But you will. Right after this. Here's the business model, and I want you to listen carefully because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Microsoft does not make money by keeping your computer safe. Microsoft makes money by keeping you inside their ecosystem. That's it. That's the whole game. Every forced update, every new feature you didn't ask for, every integration with OneDrive, with Bing, with Copilot, with Edge, all of it serves one purpose: to keep your digital life inside Microsoft's walls where they can see it, study it, and monetize it. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. If Microsoft built a perfectly secure, completely stable operating system that never needed to change, you'd have no reason to stay connected to their servers, no reason to use their browser, no reason to let their AI read your documents. A perfectly safe, independent computer is actually bad for Microsoft's business model. What's good for their business model is a computer that constantly needs them. Think about that the next time you see Satya Nadella, Microsoft's CEO, standing on a stage in front of a crowd, talking about how much Microsoft cares about you. This is the man who, in 2024, told Congress under oath that security was Microsoft's top priority. This is also the man who, in the same year, approved a plan to embed artificial intelligence, AI that reads your emails, your documents, your photos, directly into the Windows operating system, not to protect you, to learn from you. And if you feel right now like you don't actually own your own computer anymore, you're not wrong. You're not paranoid. You're not confused. You're paying attention. Now, I promised you an escape route, not a workaround, not a different antivirus, a complete exit from the whole broken system, and it costs you nothing. Here's what it looks like. The solution is not another antivirus program. I want to say that again, because every advertisement you've ever seen has trained you to believe that the answer to bad security software is more security software. It isn't. Buying Norton or McAfee or any other antivirus and stacking it on top of Windows Defender is like buying a better lock for a door that's already been removed from its hinges. The door is gone. You're locking air. The problem is not your antivirus. The problem is Windows itself. And the only real solution, the one Microsoft will never mention and has spent years making you feel too intimidated to even consider, is leaving Windows behind entirely. Now, before you decide this sounds like something for young engineers in hooded sweatshirts, give me 60 more seconds, because what I'm about to describe is the opposite of complicated. It's called Linux Mint. And if you remember what your computer felt like in 2009, when Windows 7 was fast, the desktop was clean, and the machine just did what you asked, Linux Mint feels exactly like going back to that. Same taskbar at the bottom, same start button in the lower left corner, same folder structure, the same basic logic you've already spent years learning, except this time, no forced updates, no Copilot reading your files, no data being sent quietly to Microsoft's servers. And here is the part that connects directly to everything we've been talking about today. The Red Sun vulnerabilities, the zero-day threats that triggered emergency alerts across 3 countries in June 2026, were written specifically to exploit Windows architecture. They were engineered like a key cut for a specific lock. Linux Mint doesn't share that architecture. It's not that your house has better security, it's that the burglar's map leads to a different address entirely. Now, I know the practical questions are forming in your mind right now. What about my files, my email, the programs I use every day? Those are exactly the right questions. And here's the honest answer. You go to the Linux Mint website, free, public, anyone can visit it. You download a file, you put it on a USB drive, you boot your computer from that drive and follow a setup process that walks you through every step in plain English, from start to finish, about 40 minutes. Your documents come with you. Your photos come with you. Firefox is already included. There's a full Office suite that opens Microsoft Word files without any issues. What doesn't come with you is the surveillance, the forced updates, and the broken security promises. Is Linux Mint perfect? No. Some older Windows-only programs won't run on it. That's a real consideration, and I won't pretend otherwise. But in June 2026, no government agency issued emergency alerts about threats targeting Linux Mint users. Those alerts were about Windows, and only you can decide which side of that equation matters more. I want to step back from the technical details for a moment, because the most important thing I can tell you in this video isn't about antivirus software or zero-day threats or even Linux Mint. It's about ownership. Your generation understood something, understood it in your bones, that younger generations are still trying to learn. When you bought something, it was yours. You chose how to use it. Nobody called you at 3 a.m. to say they'd rearranged everything while you slept, and you should feel grateful for the upgrade. Microsoft has spent the last decade systematically dismantling that principle. Small things at first. An update here. A default setting change there. And then, slowly, they turned up the heat. Forced migrations to Windows 11. An AI assistant embedded into your operating system with access to your documents, enabled by default with the opt-out hidden 4 menus deep in a settings panel most people never open. And through all of it, the same message. Trust us. We know better than you what your computer should do. Linux Mint was built by people who believe the opposite. That software should serve its user, not study them, not monetize them, serve them. There is no Linux Mint CEO collecting $1 billion bonus while emergency alerts go out across 3 countries. There is a community of developers from dozens of countries working on software they give away for free because they believe everyone deserves a computer that actually belongs to them. And when you sit down in front of Linux Mint for the first time, what you feel isn't just relief, it's ownership. The real kind. That feeling used to be normal. Microsoft took it from you so gradually that most people didn't notice it was gone. Linux Mint gives it back, and it doesn't charge you a subscription fee to do it. Let me bring everything together, because you've stayed with me this far, and you deserve a straight answer. Here is what we know. In June 2026, serious zero-day vulnerabilities, including the Red Sun class of threats, triggered emergency security alerts across the United States, the United Kingdom, and Canada. These threats specifically targeted Windows machines running Microsoft Defender. Microsoft, a company with more resources than most governments on Earth, failed to prevent those vulnerabilities from existing in the first place and was slow to address them once they were discovered. At the same time, Microsoft continued to push unwanted software, unwanted AI tools, and unwanted data collection onto the machines of the very people they failed to protect. That is not an accident. That is a business model. And the people who built that business model, the executives in Redmond, Washington, who stand on stages and talk about trust and security and innovation, those people are not losing sleep over your data. They're losing sleep over their stock price. You, on the other hand, you who spent decades working, saving, and building a life, you deserve a computer that works for you, that protects you, that doesn't treat you like a data point in someone else's revenue forecast. Linux Mint is not a perfect system. No system is. But it is a system that was built with a different intention, to give ordinary people a fast, stable, private computer that they actually own. And right now, in a world where the alternative is a Microsoft Defender shield with a crack in it, that intention matters more than ever. If you've ever sat down at your own computer and felt like a stranger in your own home, like the machine you paid for was running someone else's agenda, then you already know everything you need to know to make this decision. The question is whether you're ready to act on it. If this video opened your eyes to something you suspected but couldn't quite name, I'd ask you to do one thing. Leave a comment below and tell me, has Microsoft ever pushed an update onto your machine that made things worse instead of better? I read every comment, and the answers are always more alarming than people expect. And if you believe that the people who built the internet shouldn't be the only ones who understand how to escape it, then what we're building on this channel is for you. Every video is designed to give you back the knowledge that these companies spent years trying to keep out of your hands. The subscribe button is there. It takes one click, and it costs you nothing. Now, one last thing before you go. We've talked today about what Microsoft is doing to the computers already in your home. But there's a second story unfolding right now that's even bigger, and most people haven't connected the two yet. It involves what happens when the AI that Microsoft is building into Windows goes wrong. Not theoretically wrong. Actually, provably, documentably wrong in ways that affect real people. That story is coming. And when it does, you'll want to have already watched today's video first.